Imagine you're standing by a river, watching people trying to make it across. The current is strong, and while some are giving it their all, others are just splashing around, barely making an effort. Naturally, because you're kind-hearted, you feel the urge to help. You might reach out your hand or throw a rope to them. But as time goes on, you notice something strange. Some of these people aren't even trying to help themselves. Worse still, a few of them seem frustrated with you for trying to help at all. Eventually, you take a step back and realize you're getting exhausted helping people who don't really want or value your help. This is when a key lesson from Stoicism comes to mind. Act with reason, not just emotion, and focus your energy where it truly matters. In this story, the river represents life, and the people trying to cross are like the different individuals we meet along the way. Stoicism is all about wisdom and making the right choices. It reminds us that while helping others is a noble thing, it's also crucial to know when our efforts are being wasted. Great thinkers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca teach us that life is short, and our time, energy, and kindness are precious. If we spend all our energy on those who don't appreciate or benefit from it, we miss the opportunity to make a real impact on those who do. The key takeaway here is knowing when to stop helping certain people. There are some individuals who will drain your energy, drag you down, and never acknowledge your efforts. It may feel tough to accept, but Stoicism shows us that true wisdom is understanding when to step away. It's not about being cold or unkind. It's about recognizing that helping some people can actually make things worse for them or harm you in the process. In today's lesson, we're going to explore 8 types of people that, according to Stoic philosophy, you should reconsider before offering your help. Choosing who to help isn't selfish. It's a way to protect your own peace and keep your mind clear. So let's dive in and see if you're pouring your energy into the wrong places. But before we dive in, just take a quick moment to check if you're subscribed to the channel. We've got a series of upcoming videos packed with tips to help you improve your life. So, let's get started with the first one. Number 1. The ungrateful. Stoic philosophy teaches us that gratitude is super important in life. A grateful person doesn't just say thank you, they also understand how important it is to both give and receive support in our community. But when someone is ungrateful, they mess up this balance. They can create a lot of negativity and make it hard for people to feel connected and supported. Ungrateful people often don't see how lucky they are. They keep wanting more and never feel satisfied with what they have. So, why does Stoic philosophy suggest we avoid helping these ungrateful folks? Well, it's because they usually won't say thank you. Sometimes they even make you feel like you owe them help instead of choosing to be kind. Imagine helping someone, and instead of getting a thank you, you get a blank stare, or even complaints that your help wasn't good enough. Your nice gesture can end up hurting you instead of making you feel good. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Tullius Cicero said, "Gratitude is not just a nice thing. It's the foundation of all other good things." Without gratitude, even our best actions can feel dull and unappreciated. Gratitude is important in many beliefs too. For example, in the Bible, Jesus talked a lot about being thankful and forgiving. There's a story where he healed 10 lepers, but only one of them came back to say thank you. Jesus asked, "Weren't all 10 healed? Where are the other 9? This shows that even when people receive great kindness, some won't show gratitude. If even Jesus, who was so generous and forgiving, valued gratitude, shouldn't we? Helping ungrateful people just takes up our time and energy, resources that could be spent on those who truly appreciate it. In our daily lives, we often find ourselves in similar situations. Maybe you have a coworker who always asks for help, but never acknowledges your hard work. Or perhaps a family member expects financial support without ever saying thanks or trying to improve their situation. These experiences can leave us feeling exhausted and frustrated. So the big question is, should we keep helping these people when we know our help only makes them more dependent and stops them from learning important lessons? Instead of wasting our time on the ungrateful, we should focus on those who do show gratitude, people who will take our help and use it to grow. That's how we can truly live out the values of Stoic philosophy. When we help others, we often hope for some form of gratitude. It doesn't have to be a big reward. Even a simple thank you can make a huge difference. But some people don't even give that. Helping the ungrateful is like pouring water into a vase with a crack. No matter how much you pour, it will never hold. Stoicism teaches us to do good things without needing a pat on the back. But that doesn't mean we should let ourselves be worn out by people who always ignore our kindness or take advantage of it. Think about it like this. If you lend money to a friend, not because you expect to get it back, but because you care, and then when it's time to pay you back, they don't even say thank you, and instead ask for more. It's like driving on a one-way street where everything goes out, but nothing comes back. Stoicism encourages us to help others when it feels right and comes from a good place. But we also need to be careful of those who never appreciate our efforts. For example, if you help an ungrateful coworker, you might just end up with more work and no real improvement in your relationship. This coworker will likely keep relying on you without showing gratitude or offering help in return. By understanding these patterns, we can choose to invest our time and energy in those who truly value our support, creating a positive environment for everyone involved. Now, let's talk about the second type of person, the lazy one. In Stoic philosophy, living with a purpose and using our time wisely is super important. Marcus Aurelius, a well-known Stoic philosopher, once said, "If you waste your time, you will never get it back." This teaches us that every moment in life is precious, which is why lazy people aren't worth our help. Laziness isn't just about lying around doing nothing. It's about choosing not to take action when it matters. Lazy people often avoid responsibility and always look for the easiest way out. They put off important tasks and let their circumstances control them instead of taking charge of their lives. This not only hurts them, but also drains the time and energy of those who genuinely want to help them do better. Imagine a friend who always complains about how hard life is, whether it's their job or other challenges. Every time you chat, their story stays the same. They feel stuck and don't know what to do. You listen, give advice, and suggest solutions like finding a new job or learning new skills. But after a while, you notice they haven't taken any of your advice. They just keep complaining without any intention of acting. Why is that? Because they're used to avoiding responsibility and expecting others to fix their problems. Lazy people can appear in many forms in today's world. It might be someone who constantly waits for others to fix their issues, or someone who complains about their life but refuses to take action to make it better. A common example is a person who relies on family or friends for money, always making excuses to avoid facing life's challenges alone. This doesn't just drain the energy of those trying to help, but it also pushes them deeper into laziness and inaction. But here's something to think about. Is their laziness just part of who they are, or is it shaped by how they were raised or their current situation? This brings up a big question about responsibility. Should we always walk away from helping them, or can we find a way to inspire them to change? Everyone needs to figure this out for themselves based on the situation. One thing is clear: you can't save someone who is lazy if they don't want to save themselves. In short, lazy people are those who refuse to grow and take action, breaking the trust of those who try to help. Stoic philosophy reminds us to value our time and energy, so we shouldn't waste them on people who don't appreciate it. Ask yourself, are you helping someone who's lazy without making any real difference? If so, it might be time to stop, because your time is too valuable. Stoicism teaches us about personal responsibility and hard work. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said that each person is responsible for their own actions and growth. Helping someone who won't help themselves is like trying to push a car that's stuck in neutral. No matter how hard you push, the car won't move unless its engine starts. In friendships, a lazy friend might always come to you for help, whether it's advice, a project, or a favor. You end up being their crutch. They rely on you not to succeed, but to avoid putting in their own effort. When you keep helping them, it stops them from learning how to take responsibility and grow. In the workplace, helping a lazy colleague can create even bigger issues. Other team members may notice that this person isn't doing their part, but you end up doing their work for them. This not only builds resentment among your teammates, but also allows the lazy coworker to keep slacking off without learning how to do the job themselves. Now, before we move on to the next type of person, I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered if everyone truly deserves help, especially if they never take responsibility for their own actions? That brings us to the next group we need to be careful of, the irresponsible. In Stoic philosophy, responsibility is a key value. Irresponsible people aren't just those who mess up or don't do things right. They're the ones who refuse to face the consequences of their actions, leaving everyone else to deal with the problems they cause. Stoics believe that helping irresponsible people is not just a waste of time. It can actually take us away from finding peace and inner freedom. These people don't realize that their bad choices affect not just themselves, but everyone around them. Think about someone who breaks the law but doesn't face any consequences. Maybe they drive recklessly, ignore rules, or don't do their part as a citizen, and innocent people end up suffering because of it. Unfortunately, sometimes society forgives them, and in the end, everyone else pays the price. Stoic philosophy teaches us to be wise about who we help. If we assist someone who refuses to take responsibility, we're not helping them improve. Instead, we're allowing them to keep making bad choices, which harms them and devalues our kindness. A real-life example of this could be an irresponsible leader, someone in charge who won't admit when they've made mistakes. When a leader doesn't own up to their errors, it doesn't just affect them, it impacts the whole team or company. It leads to confusion, a lack of trust, and eventually everything can fall apart. Imagine working for someone who never takes responsibility. Would you still trust them or give your best effort? Stoicism doesn't teach us to stop caring about others. It teaches us to be thoughtful about who we help, making sure we offer our support to those who truly deserve it. In the same way, Jesus once said, "Don't throw pearls to pigs." What he meant was that we shouldn't waste valuable things on those who don't appreciate them. Things like help, kindness, and support are the precious pearls of life. If we give these to people who act irresponsibly, they'll just be ignored and wasted. Life is all about meaningful actions, and every action we take comes with responsibility. How can we expect to move forward if we don't take responsibility for what we do? Irresponsible people not only avoid owning up to their actions, but they also damage the trust and connections that keep society strong. If you want to follow Stoic ideas, be smart about how and who you help. Remember, helping shouldn't be about rescuing people who refuse to take responsibility. It's about creating chances for them to learn how to handle things themselves. Helping irresponsible people is like trying to build a house on sand. No matter how strong you make it, the foundation will always fall apart because of their poor choices. Stoicism teaches us to be wise and think ahead, qualities that irresponsible people often lack. They don't learn from their mistakes, and what's worse, they usually drag others into the mess they create. In families, helping an irresponsible sibling or relative might mean always bailing them out of money problems or covering up for their bad decisions. You might think you're being helpful, but really, you're just encouraging their bad habits. By always stepping in, you stop them from facing the consequences of their actions, and that keeps them from growing. At work, if a boss or coworker keeps messing up and turns to you to fix their mistakes, it might be okay to help once or twice. But if you're always cleaning up after them, it'll eventually burn you out. The Stoics believed in self-discipline and taking responsibility for our own actions. People who keep acting irresponsibly don't show these qualities, and helping them doesn't really help them grow. Now, let's dive into the fourth type of person, the manipulators. Have you ever felt like someone was pulling your strings without you even realizing it? This can happen at work, within your family, or even among friends. Manipulators don't ask for what they want directly. Instead, they play with your feelings and twist situations to get you to do things their way, often without you even noticing. Stoicism teaches us to stay calm and in control of our emotions, and it warns that helping manipulators is one of the biggest mistakes we can make. We can find many real-life examples of manipulators at work. A well-known case is Britney Spears. For over 10 years, Brittany was controlled by her father through something called a conservatorship. He didn't just manage her money, he managed her entire life, everything from her career to personal choices. Brittany was unable to make decisions about her own life because her father held all the power. This led to the Free Brittany movement, where millions of people rallied to support her and help her break free from her father's grip. In this situation, was it right to support her father, the manipulator? Absolutely not. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control: our attitudes, values, goals, and emotions. Supporting someone like Brittany's father only strengthens the manipulator, while the person being controlled, like Brittany, loses their freedom and voice. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that kindness must come with wisdom. When dealing with a manipulator, we can't let our compassion cloud our judgment. We need to recognize them for who they really are. Think about relationships where one person is always in charge, using emotions like fear, guilt, or sadness to keep the other person dependent. They might say hurtful things to manipulate you into doing what they want. But if we stay in these relationships, are we really helping? Or are we just hurting ourselves? The Stoics taught that true freedom comes from controlling our own thoughts and actions. Helping manipulators takes away that freedom. Instead of being supportive, we risk being used. Manipulators exploit others, twisting situations to benefit themselves while pretending to care about you. It's like giving the keys to your house to a thief. They'll take what they want and leave you with nothing. Stoicism values honesty and integrity, while manipulators thrive on deception and selfishness. In relationships, they may make you feel guilty if you don't comply with their wishes, often acting like victims to turn your kindness against you. Over time, their subtle control can make you feel like you've lost your own power and confidence. So, keep this in mind. True help should lead to growth, not make you a target of someone else's manipulation. The Stoics warned us to be wary of those who twist our kindness for their own gain. When that happens, it becomes harder to stay rational and do what's right. In the workplace, manipulators might flatter you or pressure you into doing their work. Once the task is complete, they take all the credit, leaving you feeling drained and unappreciated. Helping them only makes them stronger and more likely to exploit others while making it harder for you to act fairly. By the way, let's take a moment to recognize and celebrate you for reaching the halfway point in today's video. Your presence here shows that you're committed to your self-improvement journey, and that's truly amazing. Now let's focus on the 5 remaining types of people you should be cautious about. Reflect on this as an important part of your path to growth. Alright, let's move on to the next part. But before we do, I noticed you haven't hit that like button yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube show our videos to more people and keeps our content coming your way. So go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It's free and it means a lot. Thanks, and let's keep going. Number 5. The chronic critics. Have you ever been around someone who always seems to judge and criticize no matter what you do? No matter how hard you try, they always find something wrong. Stoic philosophy teaches us how to understand and handle these people, who are always negative. Chronic critics don't look for ways to improve things. They focus on the bad and try to spread their negativity. These people aren't interested in helping or building anything better. Instead, they search for even the tiniest flaws in others. Their goal is to tear others down, making you feel like you're not good enough. Stoic philosophy helps us tell the difference between helpful criticism and harmful criticism. Helpful criticism comes from people who want to see you grow and improve. They have good intentions and truly care about your progress. Harmful criticism or chronic criticism is different. It comes from a place of negativity and ill will. So, why do some people act like this? Often it's because they lack confidence and are unhappy with themselves. When they see others doing well, they feel threatened or inferior. Instead of cheering you on, they try to pull you down to their level. Now, you might wonder if you can help a chronic critic change their ways. The truth is, you can't change someone who doesn't want to change. These critics aren't looking for your help. Their goal is to feel better about themselves by making others feel worse. Think about leaders at work. A good leader gives constructive advice to help their team grow, But a leader who only points out mistakes without offering guidance only brings everyone down. They demoralize employees and lower productivity, which can hurt the whole organization. Remember, you can't please everyone. It's important to be careful about where you spend your time and energy, choosing to invest it in people who truly deserve your support. Stoic philosophy teaches us how to shield ourselves from negative influences, and chronic critics are a perfect example of people we can't change. They don't want to improve, they just want to stay stuck in their negative way of thinking. So it's important to learn how to say no to people who bring us down. Save your kindness for those who truly deserve it, people who are ready to change and grow. Chronic critics find something wrong in everything, no matter how much effort you put in or how good your intentions are. Helping them is like trying to plant seeds in bad soil. Even if you water and care for them, nothing will ever grow because the environment is all wrong. Stoicism encourages us to give constructive feedback and focus on personal growth. But chronic critics? They don't want to grow. They only want to drag others down. In friendships, they might constantly put down your ideas or efforts, even if you're just trying to help. They'll nitpick the way you did something, finding faults where there aren't any. This kind of behavior can be draining, making you doubt your own worth. Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control. But if someone is always tearing you down instead of building you up, trying to help them will only bring more negativity into your life. At work, dealing with a chronic critic can be super frustrating. No matter how well you do your job, they'll find something to complain about. It's like running on a treadmill. You're working hard, but you're not getting anywhere. So remember, choose wisely where you put your time and energy, and focus on people who lift you up. Constructive criticism can really help us grow, but chronic critics are more focused on finding faults than on encouraging improvement. Stoicism teaches us to work for the greater good, but chronic critics only create an unhappy and grumpy atmosphere. Let's talk about this in the comments. Have you ever helped someone who didn't appreciate it, or was your help truly helpful? We'd love to hear your stories. Now let's move on to number 6, the narcissists. Have you ever thought about whether it's worth your time to help someone who believes the world should only revolve around them? Narcissists aren't just looking for attention, they expect everyone else to cater to their needs too. According to Stoic philosophy, trying to help narcissists is often pointless and can even hurt you. These individuals are so wrapped up in loving themselves that they refuse to admit when they make mistakes or need to change. They just want to hear compliments and will ignore anyone who tries to give them advice. So when you try to help them, it's like speaking to a wall. They won't listen. Imagine you want to help someone see how they can succeed by changing their ways, but instead of listening, they just insist that they're already perfect. Would you still want to help them? Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control. As the philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that counts." Helping a narcissist won't change how they see themselves or the world around them. Instead, they might just take your help as more proof that they're as great as they think they are. This not only makes your efforts feel pointless, but also strengthens their stubbornness and arrogance. So it's better to invest your time and energy into people who truly appreciate it. In today's world, we see narcissists everywhere, whether in our personal lives or out in public. They love to take center stage, turning every conversation into a performance all about themselves. For example, think about a group of friends hanging out together. The narcissist in the group is the one who can't stop bragging about their achievements and never shows much interest in what anyone else has to say. Because of this, friendships can start to feel uneven and distant, as others feel unappreciated and ignored. When dealing with narcissists, Stoic philosophy teaches us to keep our cool and not get caught up in their big egos. No matter how kind we are, we can't fill the empty spaces in their hearts. They aren't looking for change or growth. They just want everyone to admire them all the time. So, it's super important to think carefully about who you decide to help. Remember, true help isn't just about giving. It's also about guiding others to find the right way forward. But narcissists, with their closed-off hearts and proud minds, can't really learn that lesson. Maybe they just don't deserve your time and energy. Now that we've talked about narcissists, let's look at another type of person you should steer clear of: the opportunists. These folks are not just ungrateful, they're always on the lookout to take advantage of others, even in tough times. For them, when you offer help, it's not a generous act, it's a way to enable their bad behavior. So, it's best to be careful and choose wisely who you lend your hand to. Let's keep going and talk about why it's a good idea to steer clear of opportunists. Number 7. The opportunists. Let's dive into the 7th type of person, the opportunists. According to Stoic philosophy, real value comes from living with strong morals and being honest. But opportunists have a different agenda. They're like opportunistic plants that only grow where they can soak up others' hard work and generosity, caring little about those who nurture them. When we help these folks, it doesn't just hurt us, it can also drag down the standards of our entire community. Opportunists tend to show up when there's a chance for gain but shy away from any real work or responsibilities. Picture this: someone at your job who never attends meetings, avoids tasks, and then swoops in to take credit when the team succeeds. They don't contribute, but they know how to enjoy the spotlight when it shines bright. So, is it wise to support someone who's only out for themselves, without putting in any effort? If we keep helping them, are we truly encouraging their growth, or are we just fueling their selfishness? When we assist an opportunist, we usually don't witness any positive changes. Instead, we end up enabling their bad habits and giving them chances they haven't earned, all while sidelining those who truly deserve those opportunities. You can spot opportunists in everyday life, not just at work. Think about community events. These people show up when they believe they can gain something but vanish when it's time to roll up their sleeves. Opportunists don't just hurt team spirit, they can sap the energy from everyone around them. So, let's be smart about whom we decide to help and focus on those who genuinely value our support. Opportunists aren't just ungrateful, they're like parasites, taking advantage of kindness and goodwill. While Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of kindness and support, it also emphasizes the need for wisdom in our actions. When we assist an opportunist, we risk allowing them to misuse our generosity. By doing this, we may even prevent them from facing the consequences of their actions. True kindness shines when it's directed toward those who truly deserve it. If we pour all our efforts into helping opportunists, we're simply endorsing their selfish behavior. It's vital to protect ourselves and uphold our values. Remember, kindness is meant to lift others up, not empower those who take advantage of it. Now, let's talk about narcissists. These folks often think they're the center of the universe. Helping them is like pouring gasoline on a fire. It just makes it burn larger and more destructively. Narcissists might act all charming or vulnerable to get your help, but deep down, they're just looking to boost their own egos. They aren't really interested in growing or connecting with you in a genuine way. In friendships, a narcissist might pretend they need your help, but they rarely return the favor. They see people as tools to use rather than as equals to appreciate. Stoicism teaches us to treat everyone fairly, but narcissists don't follow those rules. Offering them help only feeds their sense of entitlement, leaving us feeling drained and exploited. In the workplace, dealing with a narcissistic boss or colleague can be especially tough. They're quick to take credit for work they didn't do and will blame others when things go wrong. How frustrating is that? Stoics really believed in being fair and just, but narcissists twist these ideas to get what they want. When you help a narcissist, it only makes their bad behavior stronger and can leave you feeling unbalanced and unfair. Now, let's chat about another tricky type of person, the envious. Stoic philosophy reminds us not to waste our energy on things that don't matter, especially when dealing with negative folks like these. You see, envious people are often filled with jealousy and resentment. They can't find happiness in the successes of others. Instead, they feel irritated and frustrated when someone else does better. This not only hurts them, but can also bring everyone around them down. Envy is like a poison. It eats away at inner peace and makes people forget how special they are because they're too busy comparing themselves to others. It's important to know that when you try to help an envious person, it's usually a lost cause. They might not appreciate what you do for them. In fact, they might feel like you're trying to show off or point out their flaws. They don't see that their unhappiness comes from within. Instead, they think the world is unfair and blame others for their problems. So, even if you have the best intentions, the envious might see your support as a challenge rather than help. It's like trying to give a gift to someone who thinks they don't need it. They might just throw it back in your face. Instead of focusing on those who can't see their own worth, let's direct our kindness and help toward people who are ready to grow and appreciate what they have. That way, we can lift each other up without getting stuck in a cycle of negativity. Let me tell you a story about Steve Jobs and John Sculley that shows how envy can really mess things up. When Steve invited John to join Apple, he thought they could work together and make the company amazing. But instead of cheering for Steve and learning from him, John got jealous. He felt threatened by how talented Steve was. Sadly, this envy turned their friendship into a competition, and John ended up kicking Steve out of the very company he started. But here's the twist. John's jealousy led to a bad choice. Steve came back to Apple and turned it into one of the biggest companies in the world. This teaches us that trying to help someone who's envious is often a waste of time. It can even backfire and cause trouble for you. Sometimes the best thing to do is to keep your distance to protect yourself and your happiness. Imagine trying to fill a cup with a hole in it. No matter how much water you pour in, it just keeps leaking out. That's what happens when you try to help an envious person. Their negativity will just drain away everything you try to give. Instead of focusing on them, it's much better to spend your time and energy helping people who really appreciate it and want to grow. Stoic philosophy teaches us that helping others is a great thing, but we have to be smart about who we help to keep our own balance and peace. What do you think? Do you know someone in your life who doesn't really deserve your help? When we decide who to help, it's not just about being kind, it's also about being wise. Our time and energy are precious, and we should protect them from negative people. Some folks, no matter how sincere you are, won't appreciate what you do for them or might even bring you down. Those ungrateful, lazy, envious, or manipulative people have their own problems to fix, and our trying to help often doesn't work and can even hurt us. So let's be careful about where we put our kindness. Remember, being kind doesn't mean you have to give up your own happiness. Sometimes, saying no to helping someone is the best way to keep your values strong and your life balanced. It's like saving your energy for the people who truly appreciate it and really want to make a change. That's a smart choice for both you and them. We've come to the end of our journey together, and I really hope these tips help you out. Remember, you're an important part of this channel, so if this video made you think or helped you in any way, share your triumphs and challenges with us. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and drop a comment below. If you're unsure of what to say, just type "embracing challenges" to show you've made it through our journey. Your interaction helps fuel this community, guiding us all toward wisdom, understanding, and the art of turning every challenge into an opportunity. Here's to mastering the art of Stoic resilience together. Stay Stoic.